Have you ever wondered if movement is just an illusion? Imagine the fastest runner in ancient Greece, Achilles, racing against a slow tortoise. The tortoise gets a head start. To catch up, Achilles must first reach the tortoise's starting point. But by then, the tortoise has moved a little further. Achilles must then cover that new, smaller distance. Again, the tortoise moves forward. This goes on forever. Achilles keeps getting closer. But will he ever actually overtake the tortoise? This puzzling scenario, known as one of Zeno's paradoxes, kicks off our journey into the minds of ancient Greek thinkers who dared to question the very fabric of reality. Their questions, and their attempts to answer them, laid the foundation for Western philosophy, science, and how we understand the world today. Let's dive deeper into Zeno's mind-bending puzzles. Besides Achilles and the tortoise, he proposed the dichotomy paradox. To walk across a room, you must first walk half the distance. Then, you must walk half of the remaining distance, and then half of that, and so on. You're faced with an infinite number of halfway points to cross. So how can you ever reach the other side? It seems impossible to complete an infinite number of tasks. Then there's the arrow paradox. Imagine an arrow in flight. At any single instant in time, the arrow is in one specific location. It's not moving to where it is, nor is it moving to where it isn't. If at every instant the arrow is motionless, how does it ever move at all? Zeno wasn't trying to prove that motion is impossible. We see it happen all the time. Instead, he was challenging the popular ideas about space and time, showing that our common sense understanding might be full of contradictions. These paradoxes weren't just fun brain teasers. They forced later thinkers to develop more rigorous concepts in mathematics and logic, like the concept of limits in calculus, which helps us solve these infinite series problems. Zeno showed us that what seems obvious isn't always so simple. While Zeno played with the infinite, another philosopher, Democritus, proposed a radically different idea. He looked at the world and asked, "What is everything made of? If you take an apple and cut it in half, then cut that half in half, and keep going, could you do this forever?" Democritus said no. Eventually, you would reach a point where you have a piece so tiny it cannot be cut any further. He called these fundamental, indivisible particles atomos, which means uncuttable. This is where we get our word atom. For Democritus, everything in the universe, me, the stars, this very video is just a different arrangement of these atoms moving through an empty space he called the void. Atoms are eternal and indestructible. They have different shapes and sizes, and when they collide and hook together, they form the objects we see. When those objects break apart, the atoms just separate and go on to form something else. This was a purely materialist explanation of reality. There was no divine plan or purpose, just atoms and the void, governed by natural laws. It was a revolutionary idea that suggested reality is, at its core, just a bunch of tiny particles bouncing around. But what if the physical world isn't the realest thing there is? Enter Plato. For Plato, the world we perceive with our senses, the world of change, decay and imperfection is just a shadow of a higher, more real world. This is his theory of forms, or ideas. Imagine you've seen many different chairs in your life. Wooden chairs, metal chairs, comfortable chairs, weird modern art chairs. They all look different, yet you recognize them all as chairs. Why? Plato would say, it's because they all participate in the perfect, eternal form of sureness that exists in a spiritual, unchanging realm of ideas. This perfect form is the true reality. The physical chairs we see are just imperfect copies, like shadows on a cave wall. This world of forms contains the perfect blueprint for everything that exists. The form of justice, the form of beauty, and above them all, the form of the good. The form of the good illuminates all other forms, just as the sun illuminates the physical world. For Plato, true knowledge isn't about studying the messy physical world, but about using our reason to grasp these perfect, eternal forms. The goal of a philosopher is to turn away from the shadows and ascend to this higher reality. Plato's most brilliant student, Aristotle, had a different take. While he respected Plato, Aristotle was more of a hands-on, down-to-earth thinker. He wanted to understand the world we actually live in. For Aristotle, reality isn't in some other world of forms. It's right here in the individual things we see around us. He called these individual things substances. A substance is a combination of two things: matter and form. Matter is the stuff something is made of, the wood of a table, the bronze of a statue. But matter alone isn't a table or a statue. It needs a form to give it its shape, its structure, and its purpose. The form is the essence of the thing, what makes it what it is. Unlike Plato, Aristotle's form isn't in a separate world. It's embedded within the object itself. He also believed that everything has a purpose or a final cause. An acorn's purpose is to become an oak tree. But what causes all this change and motion in the universe? Aristotle reasoned there must be a source of all motion that is itself unmoved. He called this the prime mover. The prime mover doesn't push or pull things. It causes motion by being an object of desire and love. Everything in the universe is drawn towards its perfection, striving to be more like it. And this cosmic attraction is what drives all change and development. So, from Zeno's infinite puzzles to Democritus's tiny atoms, Plato's world of perfect forms, and Aristotle's tangible substances, the ancient Greeks offered profoundly different answers to the question: what is reality? Is it an illusion of motion, a dance of particles, a shadow of a perfect realm, or a world of purposeful objects? These thinkers weren't just guessing. They were using logic and reason to build systems that would influence humanity for thousands of years. Their legacy reminds us that philosophy isn't just an academic subject. It's a fundamental human quest to understand our place in the cosmos. And it leaves us with a final question to ponder. Which of these ancient views resonates most with your own understanding of reality? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to keep questioning.